All right, I'm Justin Franson here with Peter Smith at USC new tennis stadium. It is official. They have the new one built. It's looking amazing. Compared to when I went to school here, Peter Smith is a men's varsity tennis coach at the University of Southern California. He helped fundraise for this whole venue and get it after winning a handful of national titles and 4 straight back-to-back NCAA Division I titles. And Peter and I are longtime friends. We go back for years. He brought his whole team at Pepperdine out to Shiley and Scripps Clinic in La Jolla to train with us. I worked with his team for several years, did footwork camps at Pepperdine University with him for years. And so we have a long time friendship, but also mutual respect as far as how open and how the fun factor that he has, what he brings to the tennis court, to boosting people's energy systems, to have them go beyond in their performances. It's unbelievable. And so we're so grateful to be able to sit down with you and chat with you all these years after we started off together. And
20 years, really. It's been 20 years.
So anyhow, lots of fun. So Peter, take us back to the Pepperdine days, and maybe even start before, where you were playing Long Beach, and how you got into coaching, and what brought you into Pepperdine, and where you are today at USC.
Yeah, I've been at this for about 30 years. So it's an amazing story. I played at Long Beach State, and then played a little bit on the tour. And then they asked me to take over the program. And so here I am 30 years later. I've coached at Long Beach State, Fresno State. I met Justin when I just started at Pepperdine. I got the job. I knew we needed more. I found Justin through some mutual friends. Took the whole team down there. We went down to La Jolla. He came up to Malibu. Not too bad of places to train. And just introduced me to a lot of cool things. But I think it was just me always looking for the extra edge, always looking, as Justin says, to go a little bit beyond what everyone has and what everyone's doing. Just having a real open mind to just make things better for my team and my athletes. And so, yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So now he comes here, and last time he was here, this facility was built in 1970 for $300,000, and he comes back, and we have a brand new $12 million facility, and the things that we have at our within our grasp is amazing. But I think what always makes championship caliber teams and championship caliber programs is the people that are in it. You can have the nicest facility or the worst facility, and if you don't have the right people, you're not going to have the right product out on the field or court. And so, yeah, just been an amazing journey. So one that we're still on, and just enjoying that journey is important. And so, yeah, we have all these great trophies and rings and stuff like that. But to me, the most important thing is trying to make my current team always the best. And so we're always looking at doing things differently, keeping it fresh, keeping things dynamic, I would say, which would be, for me, dynamic is fun and competitive, and doing things differently, and empowering the athletes that I work with, and giving them a voice in what we do. I think a lot of that started with me because I was so young. I was 23 years old when I was a head coach at Long Beach State, and incredibly, half of the team that I coached were my former teammates. So they were basically my assistants. So I've always looked to my team for ideas, and looked to my captains and my seniors and juniors to give them a voice and make them a real part of the program and give them ownership. So a lot of pressure here at SC. Expectations are always to win, but I think you have to expect just to do your very best, which in essence is all that anybody can ever do out there. And trying to win and trying to win NCAAs and things like that, that's nice, but that's not anything we ever think about or talk about, or we just every day just trying and doing our best. And that always starts with me. I'm at the top of the food chain, so that has to come every day, and I understand that I'm the MVP. I can't go out on the court and play. Fortunately for my team, I can't go play anymore because I'm not going to win too much anymore. But everything starts and ends with me, and so if I'm in a bad mood, probably the team's going to be in a bad mood. If I'm not thinking clearly, they're not thinking clearly. So we just always have to wake up and really go after it.
Definitely. Well, you guys do it better than most and consistently as well. And so talk to me more about your recruiting methods. I know when you were at Pepperdine, you were really into going internationally, traveling, finding some of the best talent and drawing them into that beautiful campus and into that environment, and really creating that team synergy that you do when as a coach, and you do it best. And so talk to us a little bit how the recruiting was back then and how it's changed up until now.
Well, I think at Pepperdine, basically you got this small little school, this beautiful small little school on the side of a mountain overlooking the ocean, which is amazing. But incredibly, I think a lot of 40-year-olds want to go to Malibu, but not necessarily a lot of 20-year-old kids want to go to Malibu. So I really, at that point, was unproven as a coach. I felt some great things, but nothing that anybody was really noticing too much. And so I was going all over the world trying to find people, and really had a lot of luck and success with coaching Swedes. So I was fortunate to go to Båstad a couple times, to go to Stockholm a couple times, to go to Europe, all over Europe, to go to France. So at that point in my career, I realized I needed to go find the kids. And, I was traveling to tournaments. I can remember driving my car deep into Mexico, going to a tournament, driving down there, and drove there 8 hours, and it rained all day. When does that happen? But it was a great day because I couldn't watch the kid play, but I could be around him and, see him. And, I think he really appreciated the fact that I made such an effort. But I drove down that day and then drove back that same day. Lots of energy. But so now it's completely flipped a little bit because, I have a bit of a reputation. I'm at a school like USC, which is one of the premier institutions in the country, one of the premier athletic departments in the country. And so a lot of the people are getting in touch with me. I actually just got an email from a great Swede the other day, so it was nice to know that he can maybe come see me. And so now I'm having a little bit more of a choice. I have more Americans on the team, but I really still believe in an international presence. I think 1 out of every 4 guys on my team should be international. I think they come in with a real different mindset than Americans, and I think it's really refreshing for the Americans to see someone from France, someone from Belgium, someone from Estonia, someone from South America. They can learn a lot. I think when you get a locker room full of Americans, all from Southern Cal, it's, we always say the area code rule. You can't have too many kids from the same area code, and there's just this. So when you get this mix of these different cultures and different personalities, you're seeing different things rise to the top. And, the international kids are so appreciative of what they have here. An American kid probably sees a USC or UCLA or Pepperdine or whatever you have, all these great schools we have in this country, and they're a little used to it. And when you get a kid from We have a kid from France and Belgium on the team, a couple kids from Australia right now. They come over here, they didn't even think this existed. And they're absolutely blown away at the facilities, at the coaching expertise. At a university like, in an athletic department like USC, we have mental coaches, we have nutritionists, we have incredible strength coaches, we have all these amazing resources for them. And, they're just so excited just to be able to have all of this, because it's really it's not even close to as available in Europe for them. So yeah, I still really believe in an international presence. I'm just, fortunately for myself and my family, not logging as many frequent flyer miles. But yeah.
Fantastic. So Peter's played professional tennis. He's played in collegiate tennis. He's coached multiple universities. He's now head men's coach at USC. And on top of that, he's a father with two sons on the team, one a junior, one a freshman. So talk to us about team synergy and how you can really build a team and tie in the recruiting that you talked about and building a team, and how it is coaching two sons at this high caliber.
Yeah, well, I think first of all, the synergy, what I would say the culture of the team is extremely important. I'm very fortunate. I've really, in my life, really only had one job, and I've been a head men's tennis coach at 4 different universities for 30 years, and it's something I have a real passion for and something I really enjoy. When we were building this facility, I clearly remember the architect saying to me, she literally handed me a piece of paper, and she said, "You draw it. You draw what you want." And really what I wanted is what we have, and we're so fortunate to have that. And I've had that at the last 2 universities, which was basically a great room. We have, what you would call at your house. I would say the great room has the kitchen, has the family room, and has the dining room all in one area that everyone can hang out. And that's exactly what we have here. We have our family room with a huge couch and a TV to watch. We have a gigantic table that you might be able to see and in both places, all 12 athletes can sit at these areas. We have a kitchen, and then we have the 2 offices. And one of the hardest decisions I had to make for this area was whether I was going to have glass in my office, with some separation. In the end, I decided to do it, and I think it was a good decision. But that's how important I thought that was for that synergy between my team and myself and the coaches. So just on an everyday basis, we're around each other a lot, which can be hard sometimes to get work done, but the most important work is building the relationships you have on the team. So, our team, and this is their word, not mine, is they call it a brotherhood. They think that's a more closer relationship than a family. And they hang out together off the court, they live together. It's really, I don't allow my guys to join a fraternity. We say that this is our fraternity. And this facility is so amazing and so incredible. On certain days, I come into the work and they're here sleeping. They will study here at night, they will eat here, they will eat lunch and dinner here, they will stay late studying, and sometimes they just choose not to go home. Not often, but sometimes. And so we've created this environment. Awesome. That this is their refuge, their hangout, they'll have a weekend party here, the right kind of party, where they're watching football or watching some sporting event, and it's just this amazing thing that came out of this that I wasn't necessarily expecting, to make it so nice and make it so homey and comfy that they wouldn't want to leave.
Right.
So that's been great. Having two sons on the team is, I mean, for all the parents out there, they know, you know, the hardest thing in life is probably your family, your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your kids. It's the greatest thing. It's the hardest thing. But I always say having my kids on the team is 95% amazing and 5% incredibly awful. So most days it's the 95%. But I think there's a real pressure on them and a real pressure on me to have a certain, you know, it's hard. You know, I say I can't put on the daddy goggles and they can't put on the son goggles. They can't look at me with those daddy eyes, wanting dad. So that can be hard on them. You know, it's gotten easier, I will admit. Tanner, my oldest son, is a junior now, and I think that first year was hard just for both of us to kind of understand that relationship. But you know, it is. I don't know if it was ever a dream for mine, but I think in some ways it was a dream for both of us to share this, and I realize how incredibly special it is, and so I don't ever take any day for granted. And you know, I think some of the most enjoyable times might be if I'm yelling at the team or I'm really happy with the team, that just the emotions that you face from different things, and to share that little look in their eye and understand that it's pretty special to share that. But it's also can be complicated because it's not about this team is not about me and my kids at all. This team is about the team, and first and foremost, that always has to be above it all. So you know, some days they have to prove themselves a little bit more, and some days, you know, I have to prove myself a little bit more to the team. But you know, fortunately, I think the team realizes that where my, you know, I've got to be a coach first. But yeah, it's a thing that we can share sometimes on the side. But you know, last weekend we all went to the football game together, and you know, we got it. That was a cool little experience for the three of us to be there. And I mean, this is their school, and they love it. So they drank the juice early, and they've loved it ever since.
Well, so did I.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't not love SC once you're here. It's unbelievable.
I mean, there's so many great universities, and I think anytime you have a chance to grow up around one of these great institutions in this country and to become a part of that culture, it's a pretty special experience.
Definitely. Well, I'm just blown away to hear the story about architecting this entire tennis stadium. I mean, you talk about famous professional golfers creating their Fazio golf courses and these amazing venues, and Peter actually created this, which is essentially a second home for his whole team, and the synergy that they have has allowed him to win, you know, consistently 4 straight NCAA titles. It's just phenomenal. And so talk a little bit about the other end of the stadium here in the training room. That's where I love and live a lot of the times, and you have it full of unbelievable toys and tricks of the trade, and yeah, he has all these gadgets, a lot of them most people have never even seen before. And so talk to us about what are some of your favorite toys inside there, and why is that room so important for allowing these athletes to go beyond?
Well, first of all, my team's been injured a lot, so I feel like sometimes we're having our team meetings in there. But yeah, I mean, you know, first of all of these rooms are right next to the courts, and they access to what is really my office, which is the tennis court, and what's really their office, the tennis court, is right there. So we can go from the team room to the locker room to the training room very easily. We have our trainers in there. We're very fortunate to have a full-time trainer and 3 student trainers, We have Normatec in there. We have ice baths in there. We have, you know, the different trigger guns. We have a Theragun. We have a DNS gun. We're getting a Kaiser machine. We have all these stretching apparatuses, and trust me, when I was building it, we were trying to put as much as we could in there. We wanted to put a cryotherapy room in there, and my boss was not going to allow that. But you know, just all these different things that, you know, I think when you're coaching someone, you want to give them as much stimuli as possible, and something usually triggers something. And for me, you know, we can get them on the beds, and we can get them manipulated and working with the right people with the right equipment, and just trying to get them as healthy as possible, and really prehabbing it so they're healthy. They're so healthy they're not getting injured. But my guys are in there every day, and really taking full advantage of all of that different equipment, and going straight from there to the courts. And it's really amazing to have that in a tennis program. So just, you know, we're just taking full benefit of everything a wonderful school like this has to offer.
Fantastic. Now tell us about some of your routines. What are the morning routines that you go through yourself and that you recommend for the teams go through? What are some of the pre-competition routines and all that you guys employ here?
Well, I mean, I think I said earlier that, you know, everything starts and ends with me. I think for me, I have to be in the best shape possible. You know, this morning I did 6 individual hits with the guys, which can be a lot, but you know, it all starts and ends with me. For them, we do our morning workouts 3 times a week with our strength coach, and that's incredibly important for us, to, you know, have the flexibility, have the strength, you know, have the power that is important to play this sport as high a possible level as we do. You know, at this school, they all start every day off with free breakfast, which is an amazing thing. But, you know, I think preparing for practice, you know, can start as early as an hour to a half an hour before practice, coming in here, getting mentally prepared, warming up your body properly, whether it's, you know, the prehab exercises our trainer has given us, or, you know, warming up, stretching out, dynamic movement, all of those different things to do that. But, you know, after all these years, you know, I believe in a lot of calm, you know, just going out there with your kind of your mind still, getting too fired up and too pumped up really doesn't do anyone any good. In all of our national championship matches and all the big matches, it's about calming down more than firing up. I think if you have to fire somebody up, they're probably in the wrong sport, in the wrong place. And anytime you go out to represent a school, a great institution like we have in this country, like USC, you know, the motivation is usually there. And it's just having that still purpose in your head to do things the right way and be calm enough with your nerves to do them. So, you know, just really being prepared, coming out to the court early, walking on the court, really just with your body and mind and heart prepared to go is so very important. And then, you know, doing the right exercises afterwards, stretching and shutting it down properly so you can be ready to go again the next day.
Fantastic. Well, you know, sitting right behind us here are some amazing rings. So they're national championship rings, both individually and collectively as a team. And so, Peter, if we can ask you to talk a little bit about some of these rings and some memories that you have on the national championships. I think one of the one of the fun stories you told me is after you went 3 straight, you looked up and across the stadium, one of your colleagues basically goes 4, 4, and you're just like, you son of a gun.
I used a different word than gun.
and sure enough, he scheduled it and he did it. He went 4 straight back to back, which is unbelievable. So tell us some of those stories.
Well, I think one of the most enjoyable things that when you win a championship and you don't realize that you actually get to design the ring. And I remember the first time I went to design one of our championship rings, they came in and they take out this big like suitcase and big briefcase, and they open it up and there's probably 20 or 30 different real national championship rings. And I literally just laughed for 5 minutes. 'Cause you can't believe you're in that position to actually design a national championship ring. And so it's a lot of fun, and we've had different designs, and we have a little different feel for all of them. And you have the older ones, the newer ones, and I think in today's world, the kids all want them very, very big. So we've had some real big ones. So this is our last one right here, and you can see how big this one is. The funny one is I have this in here, and this was one in 2002. So you can see the difference in kind of style. Today's kids actually they kind of want them as trophies. They don't wear them too much. They kind of just put them up in their rooms. I like to wear them, so I don't necessarily love them this big. So I actually usually get a smaller one made for myself that I can kind of wear around. But yeah, super special, super great memories, and you have different things put on the sides and different quotes on the inside that maybe you use to inspire yourself. But I think one of the funniest stories was in 2009. We had won the national doubles individuals the year before, but really I think in any sport it's the team championship that's really important, that everyone puts a big emphasis on. And so they told me before the national championship match that they were going to mic me and put a camera in our team locker room. So basically you've been doing the same job for like 20 years, and all of a sudden it changes because now you're going to walk into the locker room and play for something incredibly valuable and important, and now they're going to put a microphone on you. And I can remember how scared I was, because I remember that I knew that I couldn't win the championship with that speech, but I could certainly lose it with that speech. And I had to walk in there and really, that was going to say, yeah, we can do this. And walked in there, and like I said, I didn't win it with the speech, but I certainly didn't blow it with the speech. And put the team in, like I always said, hey, I didn't, maybe I didn't win it, but I certainly didn't mess it up either. So, all these different things happen that when you're playing in a national championship match that are so different from a normal match, that you just have to pretend that everything's the same, and having routines and doing the same thing every match. And that's what we try and do. The first match of the year, we have the exact same routine. We have the exact same, we eat lunch at the same time. So when we're playing in the national championship match, it's exactly the same as the first match. So that repetition, that routine is a real comfort to the team. And they know that, we're going to eat lunch 2 hours before the match. We're going to start our warm-up an hour and 15 minutes before the match. We're going to do our doubles drills 30 minutes before the match. And there's a real comfort in all those routines. And that repetition is very important to them, because the craziness that quarter, semi, final NCAA championship can bring to your environment can be very upsetting to there. So just trying to do that same thing every time is crucial.
Awesome. Well, tell us a lot about the new facility, the training facility that was recently built, and the new gym room, and how the team really flows in that whole new center.
Well, we were really fortunate. About 4 years ago, the McKay Center was built. I don't know. I've never seen a weight room quite like this. It's half indoor football field, half huge weight room with about, 30 platforms, and lots of different Kaiser machines. And we spend a lot of our time on the turf, which is kind of the football field. And it's just this huge, beautiful space. It looks like they could assemble airplanes in there. And everything about it is different. Just the air you breathe in there is different. The lighting's different. As soon as our guys walk in that room, and I think as soon as any athlete walks in that room, they realize it's special and different. And I think that just brings a different mindset to the floor. And our former athletic director, Pat Hayden, went all over the country trying to design the best possible weight room, and he did a great job with it. And so we're in there just really like getting strong, but getting flexible, and getting powerful, and getting quick, and getting explosive, and all the things we need. But for my team to work out, and I don't know how many square feet it is. It's massive. But you can have 3, 4, 5 teams in there working out at the same time, and it's that big that the teams aren't getting in the way of each other. And really, that was the philosophy of Pat Hayden, is that we're all together in this, and we're all equal. And so it's a special thing to go work side by side with so many great athletes that we have at USC. I mean, I think we had 14 gold medals in the last Olympics. That's special. That's different. And somehow we've always just done so well in the Olympics here, from track to swimming to soccer, you name it. There's just so many wonderful, incredible athletes here.
Definitely. Well, when we came in, we were watching one of them on TV playing on a professional tour. So talk to us about how you're really cultivating these athletes, and it's so hard to turn pro, and even at this level to take it to the next step. Talk a little bit about the next step for some of the players.
Well, I think for every athlete that, I think one of the real things that we have an issue with at this school sometimes, and that we talk about, and I certainly talk to the athletes about when I'm recruiting them, is this school is too nice. So I don't want this school to ever, for any of them to ever feel like this is their end goal. You want them to take serious their time here, but I always talk about this being a stepping stone for them to the pro tour. And certainly what we do as a team defines them. In our recruiting process, we don't necessarily talk about individual goals. We talk about team goals. We talk about them coming here and being a part of something greater than themselves, which I think really sets us apart in a big way. That, certainly you can achieve greatness within the team. And I actually think when you're playing for something greater than yourself, you're going to forget about the individual pressure, and that sense of team and the sense of playing for something greater than themselves is going to push them higher, much higher than if they were just playing for themselves. And certainly we've had a number of different players go on to the pro tour, but the most well-known right now is Steve Johnson, who's the #1 American professional, and we, all of us were so fortunate to have him here for 4 years, and he was the ultimate team competitor. He won 72 matches in a row, which no one had ever done. And he cared about the team so much. He didn't really care what position he played. He just wanted the team to win, and he would do anything to have the team win. And to this day, still cares very much about the team, still comes back visits the team, talks with the guys. So you're just very fortunate to have that, and fortunate to have that as an example for someone that if you care that much about the team, how it drives them. And he did so well in the Olympics this summer, winning a bronze medal and getting to the quarterfinals of the singles, and that was one of his best results as a pro. And there again, he was playing for something greater than himself, his country. So I think he can carry that banner or flag really well. And but that's part of our culture, to play for something, a team, something much bigger than yourself.
Definitely. Now, you're just entrenched in the tennis world. Your brand, the Peter Smith brand, is massive and has such a great reputation in every way, shape, and form. You have an academy, so tell us a little bit about your academy outside of USC.
Well, I found really early on, no matter what city I've been in, no matter what university I've been in, I think one of my real passions, which is kind of weird to say, because I'm a college tennis coach, is working with kids. I love working with kids. I think that all started when my kids were young, and I just didn't have time to be the Little League dad or the NJB dad, or actually coached them in flag football. I wasn't that great a coach there, but I was enthusiastic. And, I just was all about getting them and their friends on the tennis court. And, my kids are older now. I have one 16-year-old, I have 3 boys. But, I really enjoy being on a tennis court, and tennis is my vehicle to help people learn about life and to push them to a point that they can't push themselves. And so I was really fortunate to partner with Mitch Bridge about 5 years ago, and Mitch took the academy to a place that I never could take it. And he has incredible ideas, but now we have this wonderful academy in Long Beach at El Dorado Park that has 50, 60, 70 kids on a daily basis that are there, and I'm able to go there 2 or 3 times a week. It's right by my house, and just go on the court and do what I probably do best, and do what I love certainly the most, and that's coach the kids and help them. So it's called the Southern California Tennis Academy. I love the play on words. SC Tennis is in there. Southern Cal Tennis is in there. So it's just a really fun thing to watch. I mean, some of these kids I've coached ever since they were 5 years old. And now to watch them go and play college tennis. Incredibly, I've never had any of them come play for me. But from the get-go, it was never about something making USC great. It was always about making those kids great. And it was not like a tool to try and make my program better, but it's just a tool to give back. And that's what I really enjoy, is giving back. And I think one of the most enjoyable aspects are to watch these young kids kind of grow into boys, to grow into men, and to watch them choose a college and then go play for that college and be so happy. And I think playing college athletics is just one of the most incredible experiences anyone can have. So to find a school and a coach for that person, I mean, I always say your coach in college is going to be your most important teacher. And I think we've all had a great English teacher or a great math teacher, and vice versa. We've also had a bad math teacher or a bad English teacher or whatever, and that great teacher can make you love that subject. And that coach is going to teach your subject every single day. So it's a class that meets every day for 3 hours. And if you don't like that teacher, that coach, you're not going to like that subject very much. And so choosing the right teacher or right coach is incredibly important for you. And so finding that right coach for someone is really special. And to watch kids, literally I've coached kids since they're 5 and now they're 25. And to know that they had this great sporting experience all the way through juniors and college and high school is just really powerful. So yeah, I love going there, and some days I'm really beat up from the team and I go there and I get a ton of energy from them. So those are some nice days, and you kind of pinch yourself that this is what you do for a living, and I a lot of times get more back from them than sometimes I feel I'm giving them. So it's cool to share that energy with them.
Definitely. Well, I got a lot out of it with working with your team. These guys were just phenomenal. I have one distinct story I have to tell, which was I thought was quite funny. Was one of your Swedes got on a gym ball, and he hadn't been on a gym ball, and I guess it wasn't much functional training at that time for him that he'd ever seen. So he comes to our gym, and it was all functional training, all balance products. And so he gets on this gym ball, and he could not even sit on the thing. He was about 6'7", and he was stiff as a board, and he was one of the tallest players. And he was trying to sit on it, and we were going to show him how to do a crunch on it. And he says, "Justin, the ball is so round." And he kept falling off the ball. And I'll never forget that story. It was just so fun.
So I think that player might be Robert Lindstedt, who's still playing, who actually won a tour event this year. He's 42 years old and still playing at an incredibly high level. Yeah. So he's still top 20 in the world. He's an amazing story how well he's done and how long his career has lasted.
And then I remember Al Garland came on. He was #1 player.
Yes, he was #1 in the country.
In the country on your team at Pepperdine.
Yeah, he's an English boy. He's an agent now. Works with some of the top female players in the world. But he was an amazing athlete, amazing person, amazing tennis player.
So fun. So lots of great memories. Brings it back to all of us. And so let's just wrap this up with Peter. You're going to have a chance to talk to him live right after this. So Peter, pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great to see you, Justin.
Great catching up with you. You're just brilliant mind in tennis, and not only are you a tennis coach, a mentor, a father, a husband, you are an architect, a jewelry designer, and I guess we all are when we get married for your wife. But these are just unbelievable. Congratulations on all your success, and as a fellow Trojan, I wish you all the best and continued success and fight on.
As we say, fight on.
Fight on and go beyond. We've just gone beyond with Peter Smith. You will go live with him right now, so stay tuned. Go beyond. Thank you.